and welcome to episode 31 of Games My... Hey, take two, yeah. 31 of Games My Mouth. I am Mike Albertin, and who are the Jurassic Park wannabes with me tonight?
Stefan, JD.
Hughes.
And our special guest,
Daniel Jones. What's going on?
Hey, welcome back to our second take of this.
This is the first time we've done this.
Yeah.
Don't break the illusion.
Nothing happens.
And Dan, you want to give a quick shout out to where people might know you from or where they can find you at?
Yeah, people might know me from the Overblood group on Facebook, but I do a podcast called Mr. Jones and Me with my dad. It's a music podcast where we sit down and listen to an album or a piece of music and talk about it. And he's a musician. He's played a lot of different instruments his whole life, and I am not. So we talk about music from two different perspectives.
All
we
right.
start rehearsing the first 5 minutes of every podcast.
And before we get too far, I want to give a quick shout out to another podcast called the Zach and Dean Geek Machine. It's a podcast for geeks of all background. Whether you're consumed by comic, gripped by gaming, or burning for beers, you can take a listen to their show. It's a pretty humorous take on show, so if you get a chance, please feel free to listen to their show also. And Stu, would you want to introduce the lovely game that we are playing this week?
Sure. We are playing Dino Crisis, the 1999 game by Capcom, which is basically Resident Evil until it isn't.
Yes.
Resident Evil with dinosaurs.
Resident Evil with dinosaurs. The first... So, again... Now,
you want to tell the joke?
I'm trying to remember what I said, yeah. So, as this game was described to me, it's basically a reskin of Resident Evil. This is a 3-hour game, and the first 2 hours of the game are beat for beat Resident Evil 1. Like, to a T. And then all of a sudden at the 2-hour mark, it becomes a very entirely different game.
Yeah.
There's even a little bit of Resident Evil 2 in there.
Yeah. You got some Resident Evil 1, then some Resident Evil 2 very quickly, and then, like, the briefest of Jurassic Park feelings, and then you go into, like, time-space continuum stuff.
Hey, you're jumping ahead. So first I want to ask...
You can do that with time-space continuum energy.
Did anyone have any memories of this game before we picked it for the show? I know I played it a little bit. God, man, like 10 years ago, I bought it when I first got my PS3. I bought it on PSN, played it for an hour, and then never got back to it. But I've always wanted to. Like, this was my chance to finally play it.
Did the same thing as Mike. Played it for an hour on PSN and then never touched it again.
I think I might have played a minute of it. I was, like, vaguely aware that it existed, really. And, yeah, just never touched it. I've always wanted to go and touch it, but I've never touched it.
Which is funny, because both you and Stefan are huge survival horror fans.
Huge survival horror fans, huge Resident Evil fans.
And
never got
huge
into it.
Capcom fans.
Huge Capcom fans in general, yeah.
Oh,
huge Capcom fans.
Funny thing is, one, this game wasn't supposed to be Dino Crisis. This was actually supposed to be, this episode was supposed to be, not this game, this episode was supposed to be Ace Combat 2 or Ace Combat 3, and then we just said fuck it and went with Dino Crisis instead.
Well, originally, because I now that I have a chance to remember this, originally it was Ace Combat 1, and we got all the way to Ace Combat 3 before we were like, let's just make it Dino Crisis.
Oh, I'm glad it wasn't Ace Combat. I didn't want to play it. I was like, no.
Originally, we were going to play Air Combat, which was the first Ace Combat game.
I don't even know what that is.
Huh.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Nobody knows what it is. That's why it was on the roster.
Air
it's
Combat.
It's just like completely. It does not look playable, and so we were like, "Yeah, let's make an Ace Combat 2. Yeah, let's make an Ace Combat 3. Dino Crisis."
I'm much happier with the final pick because I finally got to play this game.
Maybe we'll go back to Air Combat at some point. We'll see.
Air Combat sounds like the sequel to Air Bud.
Dogs flying at each other,
shooting each other.
Honestly, like Ace Combat now has like fucking laser jets and shit. That's not too far off. Like, I could totally see an Ace Combat game where a dog is flying a plane.
There's something to do with the dog in the Ace Combat 7 video or something, I think. Wasn't there, like, the meme going on?
Baby, who knows? That's such a confusing series.
We must stop the Russians. Woof.
Oh. All right. And
that's my dog, by the way.
It's just good timing.
He's curious.
This game starts off with you.
It could be called Ace Combat: The Dogs of War. It's a perfect
that
title.
was funny.
Make it happen.
All right, this game starts off. It's you. You play as Regina, which is a special operative, I guess. And it's you. I think the guy's name Rick or Rich, something like that. Gail, and then Cooper.
Yeah,
Rick,
there's
yeah.
Regina. You're all members of SORT, which is Secret Operation Raid Team.
Man, Capcom loves their stupid.
They come in to sort things out.
I did not know that. I don't think I paid. I mean, I played through this game, but I don't think I paid enough attention to everything that was going on. I think I got to a point and I was like, okay, dinosaurs, shoot, okay.
And yeah, just like Resident Evil, you've got like you're the SORT kind of Bravo team. You're the second group to go in. With because the first guy who goes in is Tom.
Oh, okay.
Secret Agent Tom, it's Secret Agent. Yeah, because the game starts with a very confusing note. The game starts with Dr. Eric has been killed, or Dr. Kirk has been killed. Go save Dr. Kirk. And that's how the game starts. It's like, what the fuck? What does that mean? Yeah, it says Dr. Kirk has been reported dead. You need to go save him and repatriate him. And it's like, what? You just told me he's dead. Okay. Well, moving on.
He's not dead.
And then there's like a voiceover where this guy's like, I'm Tom. I'm going to save Dr. Kirk. And then you start playing as Regina, and you're like, what the fuck is going on in this game?
Yeah. I have a girlfriend named Ada.
Yeah.
That would have fit in.
Rick and Gail, actually, funny enough, Gail was supposed to be the strong arm guy in Resident Evil 1, and Rick was supposed to be the comedic relief. They're just reused assets from Resident Evil 1.
That makes
sense. That's funny.
Yeah, because Gail is 100% like this game's version of Wesker.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wesker. And Rick's like the hacker dude from Die Hard.
Oh, and then Cooper, who has the radio.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does. I didn't think about that. But I mean, and then the other guy who doesn't even matter, but he's the guy with the radio. And in classic horror game or horror movie, the first cutscene you see is him running through the jungle because somehow he got landed somewhere else on the island and he's getting chased by a T-Rex.
Yeah.
And then he gets eaten, and then there goes the radio.
Yeah, that's Cooper. They're like the game really starts where you're like out in the woods and you're like, where's Cooper? Hard cut to Cooper getting, it's almost like a comedy cut.
Yep.
Of Cooper getting chased down and eaten by a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
I laughed.
Yeah, and then it goes back and they're like, well, I guess we'll find him later. It's like, come on.
Yep.
They don't even care about, like, near the later on, there's no mention of Cooper. Like, maybe once or twice they mentioned, well, Cooper had the radio. And after that, nothing. They don't even care about Cooper anymore.
Give up on the idea of Cooper.
He's like the lawyer in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I mean, this game, there's even one part early on in this game where Rick makes a comment. He's like, man, this reminds me, this is just like some movie. And I'm like, ah.
Yeah, they say that multiple times throughout the game. They say, this is like a movie. This is like that movie.
Yeah.
They go out of their way to make you think Jurassic Park without saying the words Jurassic Park.
They don't have to go far.
Yeah.
I mean, all I could think about was Jurassic Park when I was playing this.
It kind of had a Jurassic Park aesthetic, the inside of the buildings and stuff.
Oh,
I mean,
when I was playing this with my wife and I walked in the building with the room with the stairs, the entranceway, she's like, it's just like Jurassic Park, and then she kept pointing how everything else was just like Jurassic Park, and I'm like, I can't play this in front of you anymore. You keep pointing things out, and I'm like, stop it.
It didn't have the Jurassic Park theme though. Would have really put it over the edge.
No, it had a wacky theme. It was like weird techno jazz. Like when nothing would be happening and it would be playing like battle music and you'd be just walking down a hallway.
Yeah.
Safe. It'd be like, it's like, what the fuck is happening?
I don't even notice that. Oh, I actually played
for
this.
Things to happen, nothing would happen.
No, there's not a lot. There's not a lot of enemies in this game. I mean, there's enough. There's not a crazy amount or anything.
No, not really. I didn't mind that actually. I kind of liked it.
I didn't either.
Did anyone recognize Rick's voice from anything?
Rick's voice sounded like I kept thinking that he was Beoder from Knights of the Republic 2. Because he has that like same inflection where it's like really like a really soft voice with really like he hits his enunciation really hard. But I looked him up and he was just like, I think he was in like Battlestar Galactica at some point or something.
He also did the voice of Donkey Kong in the CGI cartoon.
Yeah, and the guy who played Gale was in Donkey Kong as well.
Yep. I was like, I recognize these voices somewhere.
Yeah. And the main chick was she played Sailor Moon at some point.
Oh,
Oh my god.
Yeah, she
That's
played
cool.
Sailor Moon, and she was the voice of Sailor Venus. Sorry, she didn't play Sailor Moon. She was the voice of Sailor Venus in like one of the English dubs.
hey, that's
Crazy.
very big difference there. Even though they're both blonde, but still.
Is Sailor Venus blonde?
Yes, she is. I can go all about Sailor Moon if you like, but I don't think that's the podcast for this.
Sailor Uranus, forever. I'm a Sailor Jupiter kind of guy.
One thing I Sailor Jupiter was my favorite when I was a kid. One thing I didn't realize till later was you actually have all three of your guns on you right from the start. You have a handgun, a shotgun, and a grenade launcher.
Yeah. And what do you load into that shotgun, Mike? What do you put in that shotgun?
Wasn't it Slake shells or something?
No. It was shotgun bullets.
Oh.
That's what the shotgun shoots is. Shotgun bullets.
There were also like explosive shells or whatever too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You even get a description of them at some point. It's like, these are bullets that go in a shotgun. I was like, come on. Google existed in '99.
And I do like it. Like when the game starts off and you get on the island, you find the ripped gate, and then you find, I don't think you find any dead, maybe you find a dead guard, or you find blood. And then when you find the first dead guard, he's been mauled. And
Yeah.
there weren't even that many people on this island. If you really think about it, as you play through the game, there really were not that many guards.
There were
Okay.
there were more members of SORT than there were people who worked in the facility.
Okay, so here's the thing. The first survivor you do meet and the second floor office with the safe, he is literally like, okay, this is basically what he says to you. He says, "Oh, you must be the new guy. Regina, looks like your party's been canceled." He's literally Marvin from Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
I
I
didn't
swear
catch
to
that.
God.
I also like how he's like, you must be the new guy, Regina.
Regina.
And
He's
then
like,
she goes
here's some
along
pertinent
with it.
information.
Regina, who
Yeah.
in this game wears like a black leotard and leggings. He's like, you must be the new guy. I was told to expect a new guy.
Just
you're
rescue
definitely
the
a new guy,
survivors in the other rooms.
You fit the bill. What's that shotgun you have there? An assault rifle.
Hey, there was no shotgun when I played until way later. I just used a handgun because I get really nervous in games like this. So I always use the weak weapon for long periods of time. Probably not the best thing to do.
There's one that he's like, you must be the new male scientist we hired. It's like
Regina.
a woman in a leather leotard with a machine gun on her back.
It's so stupid.
It's such a Resident Evil line. I love it.
But I mean, and like even early on, like one of your first things you have to do, I think, is start a generator. And all I could think of was hold on to your butts. I mean, that's what came to my head.
Oh yeah, these were all. This had a lot of puzzles in it. I wasn't expecting like a puzzle every like 15 minutes to 30 minutes, but there's a lot.
It felt like an old adventure game, like a LucasArts adventure game.
Yeah, it did.
Mm-hmm.
It had like it had like almost the same exact puzzle as in Knights of the Old Republic at some point, where it's like
Oh god,
the stacking with the fuses.
you and Knights of the Old Republic.
It's a great game. Everyone should play it.
I'm surprised you didn't make us play it for season 3.
It's a long game. That's the only reason I haven't played it on the list. I don't want to. Hey, I'll change it out. I'll join. We'll get our fans to write in. Yeah.
Getting rid of that Ace Combat 9.
Yeah, it's coming. Get out of here, laser jets. I'm all about.
I love in the beginning when you first see the dinosaurs. You go through this place, you go into the room. Gale's kind of walking with you, and you go to start the power on, and all of a sudden you hear shooting and a scream, or just shooting. I can't remember which.
It
one.
happens a lot in this game.
Yeah, you'll hear a lot of off-screen shooting or screaming.
Yeah. What's funny is occasionally you'll hear an off-screen like single shot, and you'll walk in. There's one point where you hear one shot, and you're like, what was that? And you very slowly meander to a door to discover this is like 2.5 to 3 hours into the game, where like people are dying, and like after that you're in grave danger and you're on a time limit, and you're just like, I guess I'll go check that out. You slowly meander to the door. You walk in, and somebody's been like riddled with fucking shots.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You only hear one gunshot though, and it's just like a bloody lump on the ground. You're like, it looks like they were killed with bullets. It's like, what the fuck? Come on, game.
It was Wesker. I mean, there's a lot of parts of this game that are just
Wesker. You gotta put your real weight into it, Mike. Wesker, Chris.
I was waiting when they first see the blood, like this is hope this isn't Regina's blood. But no,
I just spit all over my tablet.
No, it should have been a scene when they first found the blood. I hope this isn't Cooper's blood or Tom's blood. That would have been just perfect, but there wasn't any of that.
Or a random helicopter pilot.
Oh god, we'll get there. But as I was saying, when you leave the first area,
random helicopter pilot number 3.
and you see the raptor start chasing after you. If you don't fight the raptor right away, like the first time I played it, I just ran all the way to the beginning part. He will open doors and follow you because the raptors open certain gates in this game.
Yeah, these aren't Jurassic Park dinosaurs. They explain in the game these are regular like dinosaurs that have been.
Spoiler alert.
Spoilers for a game that came out in 1999. These are dinosaurs that are from the past.
Literally.
These are literally dinosaurs from the past that have just been transported to the future. These aren't like smart genetically engineered dinosaurs, and yet they're opening doors and like laying traps for you.
Well, I mean, I guess they're hunters, so they're learning how to hunt, and they're hunting.
Well, you know, if I can, nerd correct you for a second, the dinosaurs in the original Jurassic Park, the raptors, were not engineered to be smarter. They were just engineered to be like raptors. So the first Jurassic Park is basically saying that raptors were smart enough to open doors.
If I can,
these are the same raptors. You know, just wanted to.
If I can nerd retort, the raptors in the first Jurassic Park didn't exist.
You shut your mouth. I will leave this podcast right now.
Are you telling me what the velociraptors weren't real or something, or what? Or are you talking about in reality they weren't real?
In reality, those kinds of dinosaurs.
I don't believe it.
They look like giant chickens.
Not listening.
Okay, that's what you're getting to.
Like, I don't know if any of the dinosaurs in the original Jurassic Park, maybe the T-Rex. I don't know. It's like we don't know what many of them look like. We just know they don't look like that. Except for the raptors, we're pretty sure they look like giant chickens.
Did brontosauruses have feathers and stuff? What was different about them?
I don't know. Probably something. They didn't sneeze.
They probably weren't that big. Maybe maybe not.
Probably not
that large.
But like, yeah, they were all. I mean, they were all realistic to what people thought dinosaurs looked like when Jurassic Park came out.
Yeah.
And then after the movie came out, everyone was like, "Well, actually, we've discovered all this new information."
And the funny thing is that Jurassic Park, like, part of one of the storylines is that I forget the guy's name, but he's like, you know, they actually evolved into be birds, and they probably had feathers, and people are like, shut up.
Yeah,
you're wrong.
And they just kind of roll with that in all the like subsequent Jurassic Park movies, where they're like, "Yeah, we know they don't look like this, but these are scarier and they sell more tickets." So shut the hell up. It's such a great reaction.
There's also a common misconception that the T-Rex can't see you if you don't move. That's not true at all.
Yeah, it's based on that.
That's also fake. Yeah,
that's such a great scene, though.
It is. I mean, yeah, Jurassic Park's a wonderful, great, like, classic movie. It's just not accurate to what dinosaurs feel like.
I really wanted to watch that movie after playing this game, though. I didn't, but I really wanted to.
Yeah, me too.
I had a couple of ideas how to start this episode. Originally, one of my ideas for our first take was going to be humming the Jurassic Park theme song as the intro music came on, but then I didn't do it.
Alan Grant, that's his name. Alan Grant.
Yeah, Alan Grant.
Yeah. Alan Grant, who hates children and wants to kill them.
I just looked this up, and I should mention it, that Resident Evil 3 and Dino Crisis came out in the same year by the same company. But for some reason, Dino Crisis doesn't have a static camera. In this game, the camera actually follows you like it would in, let's say, Code Veronica or something.
Yeah, and it doesn't have the pre-rendered backgrounds. They're all...
What? It's even stranger because they cut away from that camera multiple times.
Yeah.
They still do the, like, Resident Evil 1 and 2 still did the whenever like something would jump through a window or like pop out, it would change the camera angle to show specifically that, and then it would go back to the static camera. And this game does that.
You brought up something I wanted to mention. One thing different about this game is it has scenes where the dinosaurs will jump at you but there's no quick time event. It just says danger, danger, and you got to just hit the buttons on your controller as fast as you can to try to knock it off of you.
I didn't get that part at all. Are you just supposed to mash or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was also reading a guide.
It happened to me.
So it told me what to do. You just have to mash.
I was reading the guide too on IGN, and I was like an old IGN guide, and I was super annoyed with it because the first time you encounter the T-Rex in that room, and it bursts through the window, the guide was like, "Don't worry about shooting it; it'll go away on its own." So it did, and I died. I was so mad. I was like, "Fuck you, guide! Can I swear? Sorry."
Yes.
We swear all the time.
Fuck yeah.
I was like, fuck you. Like, I just stood there and it did not go away. So I obviously shot it the next time.
Funny enough, I had to refer to a guide a couple times too. And I don't know if it was like somebody from another country who did it because it was just broken English. So it would say like, go elevator, raptor scare.
Man, you were using a bad guide then. I had a decent guide. But I mean, there was a couple parts like near the end where it told me to do things that didn't make any sense. But other than that, it was useful.
I was also
I just kept using it because it was hilarious to read. It was like, oh my god, this makes no sense.
The guide I was using was like weirdly. For some reason I always find like weirdly passive aggressive guides. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like every now and then you'll find a guide and the person writing it will just be like, they'll just put so much like bias and emotion into the guide that they're writing. It's like, anyway, the T-Rex jumps out and he sucks, so just fuck him over and just be like, it's like, like you did not try at all when you were writing this. Get on the elevator and wait for what feels like forever.
There's only a couple elevators that feel like that. They're not in this game. But...
Yeah, I like those kinds of guys though, where it's like it's less informative and more just somebody trying to do like their review of the game in real time.
I do like how most of this game I didn't even really know what the mission was because it only really felt like Gale was the one that cared about the mission. Rick's was like, let's get the fuck out of here once he found out about dinosaurs.
Well, they come to blows multiple times.
Yeah.
Where,
you can even
like, why is Rick even on fucking Sort if he hates everything that they do? Like Rick's entire purpose is like, man, like, fuck the mission. The mission sucks. And then, like, Gale's like, we're literally an espionage unit. Our only job is to complete these missions. Rick's like, I don't care about the mission. I only care about the team. It's like, what fucking join an amateur soccer league, man? Like, this is not the kind of job you should have.
Yeah, take your man bun and go join an amateur soccer league. Was anybody else waiting for Gale to turn Wesker, like to turn?
Yeah,
yes,
100%.
And to Shinji Mikami's credit, I think Shinji Mikami is really good at he's really good at meeting and subverting expectations of like people who love survival horror games and like Resident Evil games in general, where like I 100% felt like, okay, Gale's definitely gonna turn Wesker, and it's like 2 hours in, I'm like, he hasn't really betrayed me yet. Is he a red herring? What's going on? And you get like a little bit of story at the end, but it's just like, yeah, they never really give that to you. And it's like, oh, Mikami, you tricked me.
I mean, there is kind of some stuff at the ending that we'll touch on later in a way.
Some stuff, yeah, but it's not like he's not like the head of the.
No, he's not.
Ibis Island or whatever it's called. Of the Bologna Republic.
Yeah.
Oh, and this whole game takes place in some island too. At some like military base or something.
It's
center.
IBIS Islands, Ibis Island, which having watched the super replay of Sonic 06, I kept thinking it said Iblis Island. It's like, what is their connection to Sonic?
Is this off the coast of Costa Rica?
I think it's like yeah.
It took a second, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's also they also say it's by like the Virginian Republic or something.
What?
Which I kept reading as Bologna Republic.
Oh.
So actually, I think it actually is off the coast of Costa Rica. And it's somewhere in like off the coast of South America or like Central America somewhere.
I mean, there are a lot of scenes that felt like, besides you gunning down dinosaurs, you could have fit in a Jurassic Park movie.
But even like even the symbol for the Bologna Republic, which is like that big red circle, it looks like a shuriken or something. You see it later in the game in the labs. It's like the big black shield with the red the red symbol on it. And it looks like something out of Sonic. It looks like it'd be like a Dr. Eggman symbol for like one of his robots.
This should have been a Dr. Eggman whole master plan. I mean, to be honest, this wasn't the best master plan.
I was waiting to find like a dead Knuckles somewhere. Like in the corner. You hear a gunshot, and you walk in, and it's a dead Knuckles, and you don't react to it in any way. That'd be an amazing cameo.
I did like being able to, like, because just like in RE fashion, you have to check a lot of things, and you really only seem to find one item, which are plugs. Everything else is usually in a box. Like, it'll be a floating box, like it's Metal Gear Solid, just sitting around somewhere. Yeah. All over the place.
Did anybody else not really use the boxes that you could store items in much?
A little bit.
I used
you backtrack so much that I just felt like, I didn't feel like I needed to.
Yeah, you don't really. I used them a little bit for a couple. There were a couple points where I was running out of ammo, but like early in the game, it makes you use a lot of your ammo because you have to kind of shoot the raptors.
Yeah, you go through a lot of shotgun bullets pretty quickly.
I only used a handgun in the beginning. I didn't use a shotgun until
I was like
midway through.
Strictly shotgun for the longest time.
I should ask, what difficulty did all of us play it on?
I think there was only easy and hard, so I was like, well, I'm just gonna pick easy.
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I also did easy because
I did easy. Yeah.
Okay, good. None of us are
not trying to
normally.
Not trying to break any records here in this game. We need to play in a week.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll look behind the curtains. We were supposed to record this yesterday, but I worked so much this week that I felt like physically ill, and I just couldn't. I just knew there was no way I was going to be able to record.
Well, originally we were supposed to record tonight. Then we were switched it to Saturday because you had a concert. Then we switched it back to Sunday. So it just
I felt bad. I was going to go to a concert with some friends, and then this whole week just fucked me entirely.
And if anyone's listening to this and they are like scared of playing survival horror games or something, but they're interested in playing a dinosaur survival horror game, I should mention that during my course of this playthrough, I didn't use one single medical item, one health item through the whole playthrough. I didn't use one.
I think I used two because I also got caught by those raptors jumping through the fucking window.
I used a couple, but I played this. I mean, I own it on PSN, but I was using save states in the way I was playing it.
Yeah, it's a super easy game.
Well, my problem is this game does not have a lot of save points. There are not that many save rooms in this game.
No, it's not.
And that's what really turned me off because I sometimes might only want to play for 10 minutes, and that's why I don't like the original REs because then I feel like I have to use an item. So I'll be like, sometimes I might only be in the mood to play for 10 minutes and be like, okay, I got to go do something else.
Yeah, it's like a sacrifice you have to make. Like, like I still as big of a Resident Evil fan as I am, and our previous guest Sam, a friend of mine, has given me so much shit over this. I have yet to be able to beat Resident Evil 2 Remake in any regard. I haven't gotten past the police station just because I haven't had time to go back and play it.
What happened? Did some podcast happen? Or
some podcast happened, yeah. I just had to do some podcast. And well, I didn't stop Stefan, so I can't blame the podcast because Stefan's like 5 times now.
I now have to give you shit for that, Stuart. You have to finish that.
I know, it's so bad. I want to finish it so badly, but every time I play another game while we're doing the podcast, I'm always like, I haven't played Mass Effect in a while. I'll play Mass Effect. I always forget that I haven't beaten Resident Evil 2. So, yeah.
I think I got the platinum. I think I got the platinum for that game in like a week.
Yeah.
It was something like that.
Playing it.
I just know that there's no way I'm going to be able to like sit down and play that game for 10 minutes because
I want to play that game, except I'm kind of a pansy, so
it's a pretty hard game.
I'm not like scared of it, but I am scared of the dude that chases you.
The tyrant,
I feel like I'm not going to do well with that.
I mean, honestly, like, I don't know. What do you think, Stefan? Do you think that he's more frightening or the dogs are more frightening? Because this game goes all out with the fucking dogs.
I think it'll vary depending on people because I think the lickers are pretty bad too in it.
Oh, God, I forgot about the lickers. Yeah, because they change how they operate.
At some point, I do want to put it on the show in about a year or so. It's a plan.
Lickers. The liquor game. Yeah, if you're like at all worried about being scared by Resident Evil, maybe don't play 2 because the lickers are like they almost give me a fucking heart attack.
I don't know. Lickers don't bother me. I don't know. I just don't. I don't like being chased.
The lickers now they operate on like sound. They're like the worms from Tremors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the G embryos in the sewers are pretty bad too. Those things, they just hide underwater and you can barely see them, so they're not fun either.
Just play the old game. Just play the original.
All right.
Back to Dino Crisis though, just to loop it back.
Look, we're gonna go off on at least one tangent about Resident Evil. This game is the most Resident Evil, non-Resident Evil game there is.
I mean, one thing I thought was funny. This game also doesn't have that many different dinosaurs. You have the Velociraptors that you fight, and they also have a blue version that's I think a little bit stronger, maybe. And then
Compies or whatever, I think.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Compies because you only see them about 2 or 3 times snacking on a dead guy, and I just ran into a room and just skipped them all because the guy just said if you start fighting them, they'll just keep coming, so don't waste your time or ammo.
Yeah. There's some Compies. There's the Raptors, and there's like the blue Raptors,
which are just stronger, I think, or something.
Yeah, they're like upgraded Raptors.
And there's those weird, like, I don't even know what they're called. Those weird ones that with like the horn on their head.
They look like the ones that would be able to knock over the truck in Jurassic Park 2. They look like those things, but they're not. But they look like that, like the headbutter things.
No, not Oviraptors. What are they called?
I'll keep talking while you look it up. And but I did like it. Like when early on, there's a part in this game where you end up running into pterodactyls. They're only in the part for a very small part of this game, but when you first see it, it grabs you and you drop your gun and you have to hit a button combination. You have to keep hitting the buttons. I actually couldn't hit it fast enough. Regina got smacked against the wall, face first, falls down, gets right back up, and just keeps going. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
and I found out, you weren't supposed to. You were supposed to stop it. I failed, and she got smacked in the face.
You can take some serious damage in this game,
especially on easy.
Because like you guys didn't have this happen, but Mike and I were both attacked by the fucking raptors and had that danger thing pop up, and they don't like just bite you. They are like trying to tear you limb from limb.
It looks like a dog biting a toy or something, like, and you just see it grab by the arm, just swing her around. It looks really funny.
You get flung about like a goddamn rag doll.
It's
like danger, danger, and it's like I fucking know, I know.
It's just like that scene in Jurassic Park when right before he says "clever girl," and the raptor just mauls him. Yeah, that's exactly what happens in the game.
I did that about 50 times while playing this. Like every time any dinosaur popped up, I was like, "Clever girl."
I was surprised how easily you can not get killed in this, because at one point I was playing and I got to this scene where I was being mauled by a raptor, and my daughter like comes in and interrupts me as I'm playing, and I thought that I paused it, but I didn't, and I got up to like help her with something, I don't know, tie her shoe or something. And then I go back and I see that Regina's still getting mauled by this raptor, but she's still alive. Like, what the hell?
The entire time.
The whole time she's
background going like, danger.
And I did love the danger stuff. It was great.
I got free and I was fine. She was fine. She wasn't even bleeding. I was like, wow, all right, cool.
Which goes back to, you can totally play this game scare free. Like, don't worry about dying at all.
No, I mean, you can have continues in this game. Unlike normal survival horror, I never used one because I just save state, but you have continues.
By the way, the other dinosaurs we were talking about are, Therizinosauruses.
Sure.
Those things are a bitch. You don't fight them a lot. They don't show up till the second half of the game when you're kind of in the underground, like more in the underground lab and not in the facility itself.
Yeah, they're kind of like
shotgun shells.
Oh yeah, they're like tier 3 raptors basically.
They're ugly, some bitches.
Yeah, they're always in pairs too, which was annoying. I mean, the one thing I do like is I actually played this game entirely with headphones on, because the way you're supposed to play it. Well, one, I didn't have a choice.
You're supposed to play every game, Mike.
There's no subtitles. If there's no subtitles, I don't have a choice. If there's subtitles, I have a choice. But I really got into this game. Like, I don't like survival horror, and I was really, like, I love listening to when a raptor's in the room. You just hear click, 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 click of their claws on the floor, and I love that game. I don't know why. I just love the sound of click, click, click on floors.
Well, this game introduces like new little things that aren't in Resident Evil. Like, for instance, you can activate laser grids down hallways.
Oh yeah,
I like laser grids.
A raptor attack. Yeah,
I did that
so like if
constantly.
Yeah. So if there's like a raptor down at the end of the hallway, you can activate a laser grid, so where that half of the hallway they'll just be stuck there, and you don't have to worry about them at all, which is really nice.
Every single grid I walk past, as soon as I figured out you could turn them back on, I was like, well, like I am just going to be constantly locking every door behind me, essentially.
I like that. Because I mean,
No, I didn't do that either.
we're also not survival horror enthusiasts, so
True.
Yeah.
like,
Stefan and I both saw like a Shinji Mikami trope where we're like, oh, we could just turn this off. We're not
I
gonna,
guess it was just
we're not
because I
gonna
was
follow
never
this
really
game.
starving for ammo on easy mode, so I just shot him.
Yeah, you really don't. I mean, it'd be hard to run through your ammo in this game.
Yeah.
I know, like
Lots.
early on, I know Stefan had texted me and he's like, will you run out of ammo too early in the beginning? Because in the beginning, they don't give you a lot of ammo.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a guide,
Yeah.
so I knew right where it was, but you don't get a ton.
Yeah.
I was expecting
Wow.
that though, because that's a very Resident Evil thing. At the very beginning, you're just like the first hour of every Resident Evil game is just like survive, and then you start kind of getting a handle on things. So I was ready for that.
Yeah,
But-
that's exactly what happened.
There's also no melee weapon in this game either. Which makes sense because you're fighting raptors.
Yeah, you're fighting dinosaurs. I wouldn't want to go after them with a goddamn knife.
Like,
Yo, if
stab.
Turok can stab a dinosaur, then so can Regina.
Look, I would gladly stab a dinosaur if I was playing as Chris Redfield, who like famed boulder puncher. But
Oh, you're talking about RE5, Chris Redfield, that one,
Yeah.
where you just grab the dinosaur and choke him to death? Yeah. That
Yeah.
sounds about
Yeah.
right.
but I'm playing as Regina, who apparently is easily confused with weak male scientists. So
I really liked Regina. I don't know why.
I liked it too. She was like the witty, fast talking kind of like I don't give a shit about any of this character. And I think
No
she
one
did.
gave a shit. No one in this team.
Rick gave a lot of
except for
shit.
Gale.
Rick was freaking out. Rick was losing his mind.
I like it when you
Entire
first tell him about dinosaurs. Like, yeah, I don't believe you. And then he sees the dinosaur. He's like, there's dinosaurs. She's like,
Okay.
yeah. I told
Okay,
you.
yes. I want to talk about this. So,
Okay.
like, this is like a 3-hour game. For about an hour and a half, no one can come to terms with the fact that there are dinosaurs. Like, you've killed like 30 fucking dinosaurs before Rick says, I think these things might be dinosaurs. It's like, yeah, no shit, Rick.
Well, in Rick's defense, he spends most of his time in frickin' computer rooms in front of a desk doing stuff.
Yeah, he's definitely the kind of guy who's watched Jurassic Park, though. And he even talks about Jurassic Park.
Oh, yeah, there's multiple, like you said, like, there's multiple references.
Rick is the
It's
kind
really-
of guy who knows what dinosaurs look like.
It's really weird though because like there's a ton of memos in this game like there are in Resident Evil, and none of the memos mention dinosaurs at all. They
Yeah.
just keep saying there's this experiment going on, or somebody is making fake IDs. That's all they ever say.
Well,
they say
They
nothing
refer
about
to
the
them
plot
as
whatsoever.
monsters a lot.
Well,
I
that
think the
probably,
Yeah.
dinosaurs came later as an accident, right? Of the when they
Well-
were making his energy source.
that leads into the actual
Mhm.
story of the game. So,
You want to,
Just batshit crazy.
yeah, let's
yeah.
do our best to cover what that is. So, you are Sort, you're a member of Sort, and you're being sent into you're being sent into it. I'm just gonna keep calling it Iblis. You're sitting into Ibis Island or Ibis Islands to find Tom, who was previously sent in to rescue Dr. Kirk. And so you're like the
Mhm.
backup team going to find Dr. Kirk and figure out what happened to Tom. And throughout the course of the game, you've run into Kirk so much. And he's like, if Gale is set up as the like Wesker character, Kirk is definitely Birkin.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. You get the sense right away, like this guy's not right. Something's going
Yeah.
on. And you find out over the course of the game that the research facility is like focusing on third energy, which is best described as like the lambda energy from Half-Life, where it's like opening up like space-time continuum shit.
Yeah.
It's never really explained how or why, but that's what they're doing. And then Kirk, for whatever reason, goes full like supervillain and decides to bring dinosaurs back to overrun the facilities so that he can escape with his data and, I don't know, sell it like Wesker style? I'm not really sure.
Oh, I thought it was an
Yeah.
accident they came, but that makes more sense.
No, Kirk's bringing them back on purpose. Like,
Yeah, you
Kirk's
find out later that he did it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Kirk's like got that whiteboard in his office that says like step 1 dinosaurs, step 2 question mark, step 3 profit. Like that's
Wow.
his entire character.
Yeah, because doesn't he say like he can like take whole parts of like a different space and time and
Yeah.
replace other parts in our world with them? So he could like take Hitler, Nazi Germany,
Yeah.
and bring it into our world. Yeah,
Yeah. Yes, that is.
basically.
He also I love his like he acts like a totally like he talks like a totally normal dude. But when he does like the real supervillain flip, I love that he has the most exaggerated supervillain voice. Like he goes from like, oh God, I'm just a doctor in this facility and things are going wrong and I don't know what's happening. And you find out he's the bad guy and he's like, am I a god or a devil? I don't know. It's like, okay.
It's a strange game.
Alas, my machinations have been unveiled. It's like, all right, Kirk, take it down a notch.
Oh,
I can bring back anything.
why does he sound like? God, I can't picture what is in my head right now, or I can't put it in words.
He just goes full supervillain. He goes like the most stereotypical supervillain. I love it. He suddenly has a like. I think he like even gets a British accent. He doesn't have a British accent at the beginning, and then when he goes supervillain, he starts talking kind of British and posh.
This is kind of like RE voice acting, except maybe a little better, but it's up
You
there.
think this is better?
Yes, it's not. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
I don't know. I think I'd put this on par with like Resident Evil 2, probably, where it's like it's better than 1, but it's still pretty wacky and strange.
Yeah.
Am I a god or a devil?
I don't even remember this. I must not pay enough. I think I turned off my brain at some point while I was playing this.
Well, I don't know. So I didn't look into this, but there are 2 points in the game where you're given options to do different things.
3.
3, yes, 3 points. So, yeah, there's at some point, like Rick and Gale both give you an option to do different tasks, which I guess we should probably go ahead and talk about Gale's whole thing.
Well, Gale's whole thing is just for the mission to get the data from Kirk, or rescue Kirk, but really get the data from Kirk, I think, right? Is that what I remember correctly?
Yeah, but Gale's also, like, being tempted by Kirk, I think. So I did, at some point, like, you have to choose between Rick's idea and Gale's idea.
Well, the first one is if you go and rescue Tom, which, spoiler alert, doesn't work out too well for Tom.
No,
and you can... And then you can either go there or you can go with Gale. Usually the way the game works, if you take Gale's route, you're going to shoot a lot more and do less puzzles. But if you go Rick's route, it's going to be slower and more puzzles.
And
puzzle heavy.
I did Rick's route, and you find like a recording that kind of implicates Gale, I think, where it's like Kirk talking to Gale saying like, I can give you like infinite power, and he's like, oh, that sounds interesting. I think it was
Check
Gale.
what I'm doing next Tuesday.
Like it's like Rough Soldier Guy, so I was like, that definitely sounds like Gale.
Yeah.
Talking about Tom getting fucked up, that's the entire game for Tom. Tom is just like constantly getting fucking destroyed by like he gets attacked by a dinosaur pretty early on. I think doesn't he get like shot at some point?
He doesn't last long because he's on the island before you. I think he got either shot or maimed by a dinosaur.
Yeah.
He dies somehow. I don't remember exactly.
You find him. So I was laughing so hard at Tom, which I know I shouldn't have been. But you find Tom, and he's like covered in blood, like he was shot or maimed by a dinosaur. And then at some point after that, he gets like shot. And then at some point after that, he gets maimed by more dinosaurs. There's a point where Rick is like carrying him throughout like parts of the game, and he's just like slumped over Rick's shoulder, doused in his own blood. Like it's like a running joke that Tom is gonna get maimed by dinosaurs.
He's just like Cricket from Always Sunny.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't he get killed by a dinosaur in the end? Like, doesn't he get like maimed or
he eventually gets maimed to death. Like,
okay,
a Velociraptor pops out. He's oh god, who's the character in Resident Evil 1, Stefan, who if you play as Chris, like Rebecca hangs out and tries to heal him up? The other Alpha Team member. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, Richard?
Richard, yeah. He's basically Richard. Where he's like he's just constantly hurt, and he has that like moment where he's like, I'm gonna sacrifice myself to save Rick and Regina.
Like,
but yeah, it's like
it was like they needed a victim, like they needed somebody to show the dinosaurs attacking someone, but they didn't want to come up with new characters, and they didn't want to kill any of the existing characters. So
the limited cast.
Tom should have been like 4 or 5 different people that all got killed by dinosaurs.
There's not a lot of people in this game. There are not a lot to characters at all.
You know what Tom is? You say it's like Cricket from Always Sunny. He's like Vince Vaughn's character from Anchorman.
Oh yeah.
Like getting his arms ripped off constantly, and he's like, God damn it! He's just constantly being destroyed. It's so funny. When he sacrificed himself, I was like actually shocked because I thought he was gonna like wrestle the dinosaur, and you were gonna come back and find out like he had somehow killed the Velociraptor, and he was gonna be in a slump, like barely alive. But no, he finally is just 100% dead for once. You're like, oh, okay.
Oh, and then the second choice that you get, that one is either you go into a you're downstairs somewhere and like a safety thing is activated, like alarms start going off, and the choice you have to get out of this room. And I can't remember if there was gas or something. I mean, I feel like there should have been gas.
There's a gas.
Yeah.
There's a gas room.
There's a gas like chamber at some point in the game for some reason. It's explain like why it's there or what they use.
That puzzle is so stupid because you don't have to do it. You can just let them die and you just don't get one less item or something.
Yeah, but you can also trap the dinosaur in the room.
I did that.
I did that as well.
It jumped in there after you. And I poisoned it.
It was bizarre because that's a very Resident Evil thing that happened, but I don't think that happens in the Resident Evil series until 5. 5 has like almost that exact same sequence.
You talking about the incinerator in 5?
Yeah, the incinerator. You could do the same thing.
Oh, yeah. Damn.
A little bit of Resident Evil 5 in this game too.
Well, way before it came out. But I mean, the second part, and then you do like a puzzle with Rick. But that's also that's when I chose Gale's path, and I just skipped that whole computer puzzle. I saw it, but I skipped it all.
Mm-hmm.
But just because you were able to run past a lot of the dinosaurs in that part, and I avoided a lot of dinosaurs in this game when I could because I was using save states.
You totally can. There's actually in my guide it said that so there's 3 times you run into the T-Rex in this game, 3 or 4.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
And the 3rd time you're on a helipad with a crashed plane or something. And in the guide it said just keep running.
Yeah.
And so I just kept running, and there's literally a hidden timer that just stops the whole fight. You don't have to shoot at it at all.
Yeah.
Which is bizarre to me. It's like
you can't run too fast though because you'll just catch up to the T-Rex.
Yeah, you have to actively wait for it to get back on the screen.
Yeah.
That part was annoying. I got chewed a few times, but again, didn't really matter. She was like, "Oh, that's nice. You can chew me some more. I don't die."
When I was playing, I was using a guide, but I was just looking at the walkthrough, and I didn't. It was a couple hours in before I realized I needed to run, and realized I didn't know that I could. I didn't know that was an option, so I had to look at the guide to figure out how to run. It was the weirdest thing.
Yeah, this game doesn't explain anything. It doesn't explain how to shoot. Nothing. They don't tell you anything in this game.
There's even a mixing system that it doesn't explain at all either.
That mixing system, I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't like it. I mean, used it a few times to make more med kits that I just put inside a box and never used. But I didn't. I mean, I know you can make that really lethal poison dart. I made a couple and shot 1 or 2, but since there were so few of them, and they took up my valuable inventory space, I didn't use them. I just threw them in a box and just kept my shotgun shells.
Same.
Yeah, it was like a cool thing in the game, but it was also totally unnecessary because we all played on easy. Maybe if we played on hard,
right?
Maybe if one of us played on hard, then it would have been different. And we were desperately needing health or some shit, or like danger actually meant danger. But yeah, Mike said you used 0 medicine, right? I used 2.
I used a couple, but not.
I used a couple. Stefan didn't use any. Dan didn't really use any.
I used some, not a lot. Yeah.
Well, you probably had to after that part when the game didn't.
I did then. Yeah.
But you start finding shit constantly, so you don't really need anything.
And there's no visible health meter in this game. You have to just look at how she moves, and if she's bleeding, she'll be leaving footsteps of blood all over the place.
Which in the later games, can't the dinosaurs track you with that?
I've never played anything but this one, so
I want to say I don't know about this. This is just based on stuff I remember people telling me. So it's probably not accurate at all. But I think I remember hearing in Dino Crisis 2 or 3 that happens. You leave blood behind, and the dinosaurs can actually track you using that blood.
Probably 2. 3 is completely
that's awesome.
Completely different game.
We should play that game.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I just remembered just now that there was even a 3rd one. I thought there were only 2 for.
There's 4 if you want to be technical.
Space dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Huh.
I
really want to play it now.
I also got pictures of the 3rd one, and it's just you play as Regina in the first game and the second game, In the third game, you play as like some other character named like Sonia Harding or something, who looks 100 like she could not look more different.
Yeah.
Well, the first one came out in 99. Second one came out in 2000. The third one, and then sorry, and the third one came out I think 2003 maybe, or is it later than that?
They had like a little run over
2002. No, 2003. But what I wanted to say is the first two take place in 2009 and I think 2010, where the third one takes place in 2548. So they just completely jump
in space.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
in space. They pull a Jason
different
X
game. We'll be talking about that later. Not now.
Well, we're talking about both of those things later because I really want to play the rest of the series now.
It was only on the Xbox? The third one?
That can't be right.
I think so.
Wait, the game was originally planned for both Xbox and PlayStation 2, but the latter version was scrapped early in development, according to Wikipedia.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I really want to play it now too. I mean, I really want to play the second one, but that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, I want to play the rest of the series because I did have a lot of fun with this game.
Yeah, I mean,
I enjoyed it.
If there could be a character like Tom in every game where she just gets like completely shit on the whole time, I would love that. Every game needs a Tom.
Since I didn't mention this before, this game did come. We all played the PS1 version of it, but it also came out on Dreamcast and on PC back then. So there would have been multiple ways for people to play it. Another thing is this game is very even after you beat it, you unlock a mode where it tells you kill everything and go through the game again. I mean, even though it's a survival horror game, they were trying to sell it as an arcadey shooter at times too. It felt like it was mixed in, like they didn't know what the hell they were talking about. But it was there.
It's an odd, I wouldn't know how to sell this game because it's not. It doesn't strictly feel like a survival horror. It doesn't feel like a horror at all.
No.
It's kind of like, is survival goofy a genre?
Oh, you guys ready to talk about some of the ending and the choices you can make? I want to know what you guys all picked.
Sure.
All right, I'll go first because yes.
I was just gonna say before we get to the actual ending, I just want to note that the third part of this game is absolutely boring, and I'm sorry. The only thing, the whole point the only thing you're doing in the third act of this game is literally going from room to room. I wrote this down. I forget what they were called. They're like a stabilizer.
Oh, that's one of the choices.
Initializer. Yeah.
That's not.
That's not necessary.
One of the. You can either go Gale's choice or Rick's choice. Rick's choice is longer, where you build the stabilizer. Gale's choice, you just go somewhere and get it and come back.
Yeah.
Okay. See, so then I chose the boring one.
Yeah. Same thing where everything Rick gives you is safer, and you usually get a little bit more story out of it. Gale is go shoot this shit up and take something.
Maybe there were 4 choices then for Rick and Gale, and I thought there were only 3, including the ending. There might be 4 then.
There's supposed to be a secret ending.
Yeah, that you have to do something different to get.
It'd be funny if it was just the Silent Hill ending we talked about. You just walk in the Shiba Inu on the computer.
Oh, on Silent Hill too.
Yeah.
I really want to play that someday. Again.
But on the podcast.
It will be eventually. We're waiting, but it's coming.
It's coming. More Silent Hill is coming, people.
Actually, yeah. We already got one planned in October, so.
Despite nobody asking for it, we are doing it.
Oh, but in the ending, so when you get to the end, after you do the stabilizer part and God, I can't remember it. A couple things happened. There's one thing I did want to bring up before we talk about the ending. When you go to the ending room and Rick is typing up before you got to go get a key to get to the dock, you hear a guy in the radio in the room, the dead guy in the room with you at the radio, and goes, "Hey, Mike, we're in the trailer park. We're being chased by a dinosaur." And I just started laughing.
Yeah.
And that's
they're 100% willing to say it's a dinosaur. They're not going, "It's some kind of reptile. We don't know what it is."
I think they said dinosaur.
Looks like those reptiles from that movie.
But that's the part when you fight the T-Rex and you have to. I don't remember if you run around from him or what you have to do. He just charges, electrocutes himself, and then he's out cold for a while.
Yeah, the T-Rex in this game is dumb as shit.
Yeah,
it is it's got a bag full of rocks as his fucking brain. It's so stupid.
That scene with the helicopter, I was just can it just step over it?
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Where it just doesn't he bite or something, and that's what takes it down.
Every time. So there's 3 helicopters in this game, And every time a helicopter appears on screen is when the T-Rex is like summoned. Like, the T-Rex isn't coming after you. The T-Rex just hates the idea of air travel.
Well, he hears the helicopter, I guess, so that kind of makes sense. I mean,
He doesn't hear all the gunshots, but he hears the helicopter. Yeah, like every single time, like the game starts with a helicopter that gets crashed by like pteranodons and a T-Rex, and then you have a helicopter that's like gonna come rescue you out of nowhere, and before it can even land, because it's a video game and it's a helicopter, the T-Rex comes out and just crashes it into the ground. And at the very end of the game, you find a helicopter underground, which is very confusing. It's an under. They even call it the underground heliport. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, which is a whole thing, but it's quick to the subway helicopter.
It's a strange game. I mean, because
Yeah,
you
but
all
when you go
escape
there,
on
that's
a.
when the T-Rex starts coming after you again. So the T-Rex just hates air travel.
You're talking about, well, the last part, you all escape on a hoverboat, I think, no matter what ending you choose.
Yeah, but you're going to go get the underground helicopter, and you can't because the T-Rex shows up again.
Mm.
Yeah,
Does it
every
even
time-
explain? Does it even explain how a T-Rex gets underground in the labs?
It doesn't even explain how the helicopter gets out from underground.
I just realized that's so weird.
Yeah,
You're
takes the
not meant to
elevator.
think in this game. You're meant
you
just
go.
to play it.
You start on the surface of the island, and as the game proceeds, you are going further and further down to escape via helicopter.
But Dan is right, though. I mean, there is an elevator that the T-Rex, I think, was on when he kills the guy to get the keys.
Maybe that's why you only run into the T-Rex like a couple of times. Like he is just constantly waiting for the elevator down.
Yeah, it was the big like cargo elevator or
Yeah.
whatever.
Every time you run down a hallway, he's just like sitting there with his eye looking down the hallway like, oh man. He's like looking at a little watch. He's pressing the button.
He's got his coffee.
Yeah. Down, down,
gold.
down. Come on, come on. Oh, this thing is so slow.
It's a strange game. Oh, so what ending?
I love the idea of a T-Rex with a cup of coffee and a tie with a little watch, and he's just sitting on that cargo elevator while like smooth R&B plays. So he's waiting to go down.
It's probably like, this must be the new guy.
Like the Mass Effect elevator music starts playing as he's on the elevator.
Like a motivational poster in the background.
Yeah.
You can
Hang
do
in
it.
there.
He's just tapping his foot. It's like,
He's looking at the hang in there poster, and he's just like, I can't hang anywhere. My arms are too short.
He gets like a phone call from one of the Raptors, and the Raptors are like, dude, bros, and then like, yeah, we totally fucked up that Dom guy again, bro. It's like, oh, cool.
All
Hey,
right,
we should be down here. We're down on B3.
what ending did you guys choose? I went with Gail's idea to go and finish the mission and go and find Kurt, and that's when Gail gets shot.
Yeah,
Mm,
I went with
I guess.
Rick.
Yeah. I guess we both chose the boring one, Rick.
Yeah, I went with Rick too.
Oh, so I was the only one. Yeah, Gail gets shot and killed if you go after him, if you choose his version.
Well, his version is you're going after Kirk.
Yeah, he has to go get
The
Kurt.
only Gail is very much like the only point of this mission is to like we gotta go save. We have to go kidnap Kirk. He goes from saving Kirk to we are going to kidnap and force Kirk to come with us, because we need his science back in wherever we come from.
I know on my ending, that's when he finally talks about how he was sent to do this mission, but he didn't want to tell Regina and Rick because he didn't know if they'd be okay with it or something like that. I didn't.
Again, the worst espionage team of all time.
Oh, it is. It's terrible. None of them.
They never explain who they work for, do they?
No.
I don't think so.
You never find out if they're like, they work for Sword, but it's sort of like
Okay, I didn't
It's
realize
sort of like-
this.
American or
Did you guys escape on the watercraft too? Because I just reading here, it says you can escape the island via watercraft or a helicopter.
yeah.
So I was very confused by your joke because I just went in my version, in my ending, he just went in the watercraft and left. Well,
No,
yeah,
they escaped in a helicopter in mine.
Yeah, if you choose Rick, you escape on the helicopter. Rick is a masterful helicopter pilot, even though he's not the helicopter
did you
pilot.
get chased by the T-Rex in your ending?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the T-Rex chases you through an underground like tramway while you're in the helicopter.
So
Actually,
were
hold
you
on.
hearing Metal Gear in your head?
You
when
have
you're
to
doing that
go
part?
down. There's a weird ass part of the game where it's like you're on a tram,
Yeah,
which
you're
is
on a
taking
tram.
you to the helicopter,
Right.
and the T-Rex is chasing you, and you have to like shoot it and make it stumble so that it can't keep up with you. It's a very odd section of the game.
My
Yeah.
ending was I didn't have that part. Mine, you're in the hovercraft. He's in the water, swimming after you. You got to go there and shoot him with a grenade launcher about 3 times, and he
The
goes away.
T-Rex is swimming after you.
Yes,
That's amazing.
That's
you
interesting.
just see his head, and he's just swimming after you as
awesome.
fast as the watercraft.
Oh,
Hey, popping up trying to bite you, and you got to shoot him with a grenade launcher.
I wish I well, hold on. I was about to say I wish I picked Gale's, but if you pick Rick, you drop a fucking nuke on the T-Rex, which is awesome.
Yeah.
We threw
Yeah.
C4 in his mouth in my ending.
Oh, cool. Yeah, when you're in the
Oh,
helicopter, at some point Rick says like, "Let's light this mother up," and he drops a giant, like it looks like a Fat Man bomb,
Yeah.
like down
Mhm.
onto the T-Rex, and it's just like the superimposed explosion, and you escape.
Oh, wow. I need to go watch the other endings of this game now. And I know there's a third ending where you don't do either of the things that they ask you. You just do something else, but I didn't look it up what it was.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happens if you do that.
That's really cool, though. I mean, I'm
Or you,
glad
like,
that we did
suck back in time or something.
pick different endings because I would have had I was thinking, I was like, what are you talking about, helicopter? It's just a watercraft. But I see you guys did something completely different to me.
Well, I was having a hard time. I was like, Rick seems like he's like the good ending guy. But the entire time I was also going like, yeah, Gale really does have Gale's point is really the right point in this. Like you are doing
Yeah.
a job. You came here to do your job, and the only thing Rick wants to do from the second you guys land on the island is
Just
anything
leave.
but his job.
In your ending, did Gale survive after you knock him out?
Yes.
Okay, in my ending, Gale dies, but Kirk survived because you take him with you.
Yeah, because Rick's whole ending is like, man, we got to get out of here. Go get Gale and put him on the helicopter. And you go bump him in the head and somehow drag the like 6'5", 400-pound of muscle Gale back to the helicopter.
Yeah, because isn't he like holding Kirk hostage or something, and then like a pipe just gets the drop on him?
Yeah,
if I
they're-
remember correctly.
In my ending,
In both, I'm asking for both endings actually. I'm kind
in
of
my
curious.
ending, he gets squished by a pipe, and that's how he dies. I thought he got shot.
Oh,
Too.
okay,
I think
it's like a
it-
net broke him.
Yeah, I think that's the part where it like that's like where the disparity starts. Like you go find Gale and he's got Kirk and they're in like some kind of standoff. And I think if you pick Gale's
Yeah.
ending, he gets killed in that scenario by the pipe. And if you pick Kirk's ending, or if you pick Rick's ending, you like bonk him in the head and you get him out of the way before the pipe falls. And
That's
Kirk
right.
gets killed or something. I can't remember what happens to Kirk.
Yeah, Kirk doesn't deserve to live.
I think he kind of like actually I think if you pick Rick's ending, don't you just leave Kirk on the island? You don't actually
I think you do, yeah.
Yeah, you don't actually kill him or anything. You're just like, all right, fuck it, bye.
By Dr. Hammond.
I finished this game like 3 or 4 days ago, and the story is already like leaving my memory
It's a very
completely.
It's very free. I mean, it's a fun game, but it's kind of forgettable. Oh, are you guys ready to move on to listener questions?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, I got a few, but first one, these are some from the Overblood community. I got from Ron Huntone. He said, since no one else posted this, I will. I'm Dino Curious. Not a question, but I wanted to read it. Let's see what else I got here. And Emmanuel, who's going to be on the show here in a couple episodes.
Oh.
Or
Wait,
another couple.
when he says Dino Curious, does that mean he wants to get with a
Is he
dinosaur?
like sexually attracted to dinosaurs?
You can ask
Maybe.
him. Is it the
But he's
Overblood?
open to the idea of both male and female dinosaurs. So
Okay, he's pan dinosaur.
and he's Pangea sexual.
Oh man, there it is.
That was
There it
funny,
is.
though. Oh, and this is from Emmanuel, one of our soon-to-be guests on the show. To the surprise of no one, he said, I never played them, but the redhead chick is, and he did a little finger sign where like the 0.
Oh yeah, she's a popular cosplay character.
I can see why. I mean, she was
for
cool.
obvious
And
reasons.
she was cool looking too, or attractive.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, and then here's an actual question from Paige Fansler. It's RE with dinosaurs. Better yet, find yourself playing some Parasite Eve. Better yourself health up. Okay, that wasn't a question. I'm not reading it, but yeah. First, I was like, oh, this looks like a question. It was not a question.
I'm
But-
going to. I gotta go to the bathroom really badly. So.
Okay, you're good. I'll just
I'm
keep
sorry.
talking.
Yeah, you're going. I'll be back.
Parasite Eve was actually, I mean, I posted the link to our episode, but I enjoy Parasite Eve more, but I enjoy both of these. Let's see. I got some more questions.
Mhm.
Okay, this guy asked, Dickie Bevan asked, are you doing this? Are you doing the first game or the series as a whole? The first game. I
Yep.
didn't read that. But
Thanks for that question, Mike.
You're welcome. Okay, here. Actually, I don't know if you knew this, but there's actually 3 Facebook groups about Dino Crisis.
That's it.
Well, the fact that there were 3 was kind of weird.
Yeah, right.
Huh. And had some of the same people. Okay.
It's true.
Here's a good one. Here's a question from Motaz Samshan. I'm sorry, I butchered your name if you do listen to this episode. Should the gameplay be similar to that of RE2 Remake if they made a remake, or should it just be a new entry in the series? What would you rather see?
I was thinking about that. That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would want a remake. Yeah, I would go for a remake of this.
Yeah, I was actually going to go at great length about this. The thing that I feel about Dino Crisis, and is part of the reason why I still like this, but I think it deserves a remake, is because it didn't really live up to its potential.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, it's just like there's so much that could be fixed about it, so much that could be like better enjoyed about it if they did a better job with it in today's graphics. And like, maybe they could add more dinosaurs, maybe make a more coherent story. And I don't know, it 100% deserves a remake. 100%.
I felt like the graphics held up a lot better than I expected them to for PlayStation 1 graphics. But
Yeah,
obviously they could be improved.
Like when I first played this on the emulator, my emulator, it was running slow and it was ticking up the graphic. Everything looked a lot cleaner than it did when I was playing it on my PS3 on the PSN version.
Yeah.
And that's when but it was also running really slow. Like there'd be times they're talking to be like, did you see that over there? And I'm like, well, this is fun. And it was just because I had to change the settings in the emulator.
There is something about that Capcom did with this specific game where they wanted it to run at 60 frames per second with the tracking camera, the moving camera. And I forget like what it is, the lingo, like computer wise and programming wise, that made that happen. But this game does have that. It's like up-res 100% more than any of the Resident Evil games.
I would love to have a remake of this. I mean, I would love to have an HD collection of all 3 just to have it in an easy way for people to digest it. Other than the way
they remake it, though, I feel like they would need to. So I felt like the who's the guy in Resident Evil 2 remake that chases you? What's his name?
Mr. X.
Okay,
the Tyrant.
Yeah, the Tyrant. So I felt like the T-Rex was supposed to kind of be like the Tyrant in this game, but because he just kind of pops out of nowhere, so it was almost like if they remake it, I would want the T-Rex or something, maybe like a special raptor or something, to be almost like the Xenomorph in Alien Isolation.
Oh God!
To just be able to come out of nowhere whenever.
And opening doors and everything.
Yeah.
It could work.
That would be cool.
I don't think we'll ever get a remake, but it would definitely be cool.
No.
Oh, and another question. Yes.
This game sold like I think 250,000 copies, so that's never good for remake territory. I think Resident Evil 2 sold like 10 million or something.
Well, Resident Evil 2 was a huge hit. This was, I think, more of a, like you said, it never really took off huge. I mean, it made sequels, but I don't think it made the kind of money it needed to make. It's kind of a forgotten series too at this point.
I'm back.
It is.
Good. Oh, and then another question we have.
I don't know if you're going to cut that out, but I was like,
we'll see.
If you don't, apologies to everyone, because Mike was like, let's start listener questions. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to piss my pants. Oh my God.
Okay, it's not going out now, by the way, after that comment. That was funny.
I just usually put my catheter in before each podcast.
It was like 20 minutes ago. I was like, I can make it.
I just peed my pants like 10 minutes ago. So.
Look, I like doing the podcast, but I'm not going to be sitting in a puddle of urine for 20 minutes.
I'm hardcore.
All right, from Sheila Cheris.
You're not a real podcaster unless you have a UTI.
What was your first impression when you played the game?
Man, I love Resident Evil.
Pretty much. I mean, when I first played this years ago, I was like, oh, it's kind of like RE, but I have more ammo. It doesn't feel as hard. I don't feel so threatened and confined. And I was much more excited.
There's probably somebody listening to this right now that's pissed off that we keep saying, oh, it's just like Resident Evil.
Oh, yeah.
Saying like, no, it's not.
In the three groups I'm going to be posting this then after we're done with this.
Like it's a bias from all Arrested Development. It's gonna be somebody's in the comments is gonna be like, there are dozens of us, dozens.
I mean, it is a lot different.
It just
it does feel like an RE game, but it's so that's why.
It was just so corny at the beginning, especially when Cooper dies, and that was just so laughable that was my first impression. I was like, oh shit, all right, we're in for something funny here.
Yeah, I don't mean this as
Accurate.
this isn't an insult to this game at all, but it feels like a Resident Evil parody game.
Yeah.
Sounds like an insult.
It sounds like an insult, but like it plays like a Resident Evil parody, but in a good way. Like it's funny. Like it's a funny game. It's
I liked
goofy
it.
and weird,
Yeah.
but it's like the comedy shot, the immediate comedy cut to Cooper getting killed by the T-Rex. Right. That's a lot of alliteration. It was a really laughable moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it works. I mean,
it's funny stuff.
It was, you know what? It kind of reminded me of one of my favorite movies is Deep Blue Sea, and Deep Blue Sea is such a ridiculous movie, and this was kind of like a dinosaur version of that, and it was fine.
Yeah.
And
still got killer moments.
In the same way that Deep Blue Sea is like a remake / parody of Jaws, this is a remake / parody of Resident Evil.
Exactly.
Both good for different reasons.
Oh, and before we go on to Shelf or Box, Daniel, do you have some whale facts for us for our all intents and purposes?
I don't know. Not really. I mean,
or sea facts. Sorry, any sea facts are good. I thought you had a dolphin thing.
Dolphins, yeah, dolphins. What was it? Dolphins are one of the. I was proven wrong though, or I was corrected by somebody. That
for the first time ever, we have a sea falsity.
So I thought that dolphins were the only other mammal that had sex for pleasure, but apparently there's
there's a ton. I said that too knowingly and too quickly, but yeah, there are a bunch.
Yeah.
And yeah, there are a ton. Like David, but also lives out back, and I know him.
But also, dolphins do some other terrible things. Like they also kill for pleasure and will rape and. Yeah,
good God, what?
Hold on.
Terrible creatures, really.
I actually no, because this is Daniel. This is from a thread in Overblood, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I was in that thread.
Oh.
I know.
Yeah. I think I was the one who pointed out that dolphins kill for pleasure.
Well, they do though. But they do.
Dolphins.
I'd heard that before you said that too. And
what the hell? How did this conversation come up in Overblood?
I don't remember what. I don't remember either. Yeah, somebody was talking about dolphins. We were like, yeah, dolphins are awful. Dolphins are terrible creatures. Dolphins will hunt sharks for. Dolphins will actually go out of their way and hunt sharks for like miles just to kill them.
Yeah,
not for food, not for territorial reasons. They just like killing.
In different regions of the ocean, killer whales are like sharks are actually not the apex predator in a lot of places. Killer whales will kill sharks. And dolphins will kill sharks. Yeah. Dolphins don't like eat sharks, but killer whales will. So yeah,
that's crazy.
Dolphins will go out of the way and kill like sea lions and shit. They'll just track them down and just kill them for no reason.
And they play with them too. They do. They don't just kill them. They mess around with them and just like tease them and sometimes torture them until they just die.
This podcast has come out hard against dolphins.
I'm now anti-dolphin.
We're taking down dolphins. Get out of here with that. Oh, they're so cute bullshit. Dolphins are terrible, horrible monsters that deserve to be killed. Next time you see some news report that's like, oh, the pollution in the ocean is killing dolphins. Fucking good.
Read some Douglas Adams.
We're all screwed
you'll be afraid
if they leave the planet.
Yeah.
That's whales. But
they can't leave the planet if we kill them all first.
All right, I think we should go to Shelf or Box.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
Before the dolphin lobby finds out it comes out first.
Stefan, do you want to start for us tonight?
Sure. This game is going on my shelf. I love the game. I feel like the third act went a little batshit crazy, a little wonky. But overall, I mean, hell, it was like Resident Evil with dinosaurs. It was a blast. I do think that while Rick and Gail were kind of like the main focus of the story and Regina kind of took a backseat as far as I'm concerned, and we didn't really get to know her as much as I'd like to, I still am all for a remake because I feel like the game didn't live up to all the potential it could have. Part of it was limited by the fact that it came out on PlayStation 1. But, overall, it was awesome. Like T-Rex busting through a window, you got to shoot it down, killing raptors, setting traps with laser grids, weird save system. I liked all of it. It's going on my shelf.
Oh, Daniel, how about you?
Yeah, I think it would go on my shelf too, but that's not saying much because I also have like Home Alone 2 for the Super Nintendo on my shelf. So,
I think like 80% of the games on here are on my shelf, so I wouldn't worry about it.
But no, I would keep it because it like Stefan said, I was actually really surprised at how much I enjoyed it, and I liked that it's actually not super scary. It's just kind of intense. It felt like a precursor to Dead Space 2 in that way. Like it was like these kind of intense, anxious moments interspersed with like big set pieces, and I enjoyed it. And like I said earlier, like the graphics hold up a lot better than I expected them to. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it looked really good, actually.
Oh, yeah. How about you, Stu?
I am definitely putting this on my shelf. I had a lot of fun with this game. I really like the beginning as a Resident Evil fan. I really like that like style of gameplay and story, like kind of goofiness of it. And I like, while the third act was probably the weakest, I still really liked the ridiculousness of it. I mean, the fact that Tom finally got killed was just, that was supposed to be like a big moment of the game, but I was just losing it. I was laughing so hard when he dies. It's like this character that you're supposed to save, and he's like bleeding on the ground, and I'm like crying, laughing. But yeah, I've really enjoyed the camera work in the game was pretty interesting. The fact that it follows you around, but it still cuts away to do like shocking jump cuts, or the whatever they're called, the like sudden cuts to a dinosaur popping out of a vent and jumping on you. That like a couple times that actually got me. I jumped a little bit. So I would love to see, like, based on Capcom's remakes have all been really good. I would love to see what they could do with a Dino Crisis remake. I know a lot of people have been asking for it for a long time, but I'm gonna be one of those people. I'm on board with it now. I would love to have modern Dino Crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'll go next. I mean, I was a little unsure about how I was going to feel about this game at first because I don't like survival horror games normally. But this was the one that I actually really enjoyed playing. Like, this was the one that I had the most fun with out of anything else that we picked for survival horror on the show so far. And probably that is coming up. But I really liked it. I mean, this is definitely going to go on the shelf. I mean, I'd always wanted to play it, so I was so excited that it was actually on the show that we did pick it because it's been on my list forever. So it was so great to finally play it and finish it. And yeah, it's on the shelf, and I'm glad that we played it. Will I ever play it again? Probably not, but I'm glad it was played.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't play Ace Combat too.
Yeah, me too. Somebody out there is like a super big Ace Combat fan, just like miserable now.
One quick thing I did want to mention that we hadn't brought up yet about the game is after you beat it, you do get to choose different costumes that she can wear. There's like 4 costumes, and one you only unlock if you beat the game on hard mode, I think. I didn't look, but there are other costumes which I thought were kind of cool. I didn't care or look. I mean, I saw them and I was like, oh, okay, and then that was it.
That's pretty much what I do every time I see like an unlocked costume option in the game.
Only Dead or Alive Ultimate was the one I cared. But that was a long time ago. That's because I like Kasumi a lot.
As a modern Tomb Raider fan, I love alternate costumes.
Oh, and I think I should introduce what we're playing next week.
Yeah, probably.
We are playing. This is kind of my pick. Originally, it was supposed to be Star Fox Assault, one of DJ's picks, but we changed it because none of us have ever played Star Fox Assault and don't have any kind of connection to it. So we're playing Star Fox. Oh, hey, change that. We're playing Star Fox 64.
Hey.
Or N64. I will not be playing an N64, but I have an N64 controller I'll be playing with. So,
the best Star Fox game.
It's always been I thought it'd be perfect because it's one of the probably the most well known of the entire series. I mean, it's the one that everyone talks about whenever you talk about Star Fox, and I've always wanted to play it and never been able to force myself to actually do it, or I have, but never gotten far. So I'm excited to finally play it for the show.
Did you guys ever do Star Fox Adventures? I also have that on my shelf, so I'll gladly join you because I've never played it. So that'll give me an excuse to play it. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't played that.
Hit me up in 3 years when I decide to do that.
It might be 3 years. We
Let's
already
wait to see
have.
how enthusiastic I am.
All right, and I want to give a quick shout out to the podcast I mentioned earlier, Zach and Dean's Geek Machine. There'll be a link in the show notes. Also, if you get a chance, please follow our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages. It's all at Games My Mom Found. And also, our intro and outro came courtesy of Bulby, aka Mike, aka Mike Stoney.
Mike Stoney, aka Bulby.
Oh God! It's the song "Cool Kid Squad" from his EP "Bite the Bullet." Man, that wasn't even on purpose. I really should write it down one day. All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for listening, and we will be back. Actually, later this week, there'll be a bonus episode releasing for you if you're still here on this weekend or before the weekend. So we got some extra stuff coming up. I don't really want to say what it is, but it's going to involve the but it will be a bonus episode.
Well, that gives it away.
I know. But who knows who's still listening at this point. All right. Everyone have a wonderful night. Thank you.
We lost our entire fan base left after we said fuck Dolphins.
Yep.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, we have a huge crossover between video game nerds and dolphin lovers. 100% of our audience.
Everyone have a wonderful night, everybody.
Fuck Dolphins.
They'd love fucking you anyway.